Hello, Internet. I was asked to answer some awesome questions given to me by Gabi, who's one of my awesome friends over the Internet, who hopefully, bucket list, I will meet one day. And so, I love questions, just saying, and these questions are cool, so you're gonna love them too. So, first question. Art is life. How does that apply to you? It's life. Like, I could never imagine my life being any different. I absolutely love being an artist. Like, there's stuff I've drawn at like 2 years old. It's just always been there. It's been a part of me. That's what it is. So I guess I've never doubted it. Like, I've always just been like, fuck yeah, this is my dream. Living my dream. Don't even care. That's my life. Number 2, when did you first know that you were an artist? When I was like 2, apparently, because that's when, I mean, that's where my oldest drawings are, when I was 2. So, yeah. And then, how does it feel to have your photography and art showcased in your first art show? That art show was amazing. It wasn't even just the show, it was the people's interpretations, and that, when people interpret your art and get it on point, like, understand what you are trying to communicate, that's the best. Like, nothing beats that, because that means that all the emotion, everything you put into that is seen. That is the most important. Also, I was eating cake and I dropped it, and that was embarrassing because apparently I don't know how to act in public. But the food was really good. So, I mean, that's acceptable. Number 4, have you taken a moment to look back at all you've accomplished at such a young age? If I actually sat down and thought about all my accomplishments, actually I do sometimes, and I feel like I'm insane. Like, some of my friends struggle to work like at gas stations, and I am living my dream life. So, I guess I don't really know how it feels because I don't know what it's like to be like not so driven, you know? Number 5. How are you different now than you were just a few years ago in high school? Way different. I'm actually myself. I'm actually like living my life and being whoever the hell I want to be. And I'm not bound by asshole boyfriends who tell me otherwise, and I'm not bound by asshole classmates that tell me otherwise, and it's wonderful. It's such a relief, and just, I love being me. I love living in my own little dorm room to myself. It's wonderful. I do like being alone a lot, but then again, I kind of get bored with people. Kind of. Alone in a crowd. Number 6. How much of yourself, of Morgan, do you put into your serious art pieces? I put all of me into everything I do. I think mostly because that's how I work. That's what I do. It's emotion. It's power. That's what it is. It's the power of emotion that makes my work come together. That's the important part. Like, you can't have just like this much emotion in a piece. It's like all or nothing. Typically I go for all. If I actually do a shoot with no emotion, like some of the I mean, I've been forced to do some senior photo shoots that are like ungodly painful and emotionless. Like, oh, I want to do something original. Let's go to train tracks. No, train tracks are not original. That's a whole nother rant. Number 7, what inspires you more than anything else? Well, obviously I work in vintage, and seeing the... I love it all. I love everything vintage. But it's not really an inspiration. I think I'm more inspired emotionally because that's how I get my, like... That's a huge part of it. I don't really know how that ties into inspiration, but let's pretend that I gave a complicated answer. More complicated than that, anyway. Next set of questions that I have to scroll to. What drives you to perfection? I'd say what drives me to perfection is, well, basically, if I don't get the emotions I want to get out of a shoot, it will drive me insane. Like, it has to be exactly what I want to communicate. Like, I have to have that one thing, that big thing in there. That big, yeah. Question number 9, when you are drawing, shooting, or editing, what goes through your head when you hit that aha moment? Okay, it's not really like one big moment, like, yes, this is it. It's more of a, okay, I think this is what I want, but I might change the color a little bit, but this is what I want. But then, if I, like, edit a photo and then shut out of it for the next 10 minutes or go eat or something, and then I come back, I'll be like, what the hell is this? I go through that process like 20 times. Like, I'll have like 40 aha moments over the same photo, just because I want to get like this one thing out of it. But I don't. So I have to repeat it over and over again until I finally get this, yes, this is perfect. This is that timeless thing. Like, I need to have one piece of it be completely timeless. Like, that's my big thing. Like, at the gallery, the guy said, yes, like, you're a time traveler. You create these scenes, these places, these things that look like they are not of, obviously, 2013, 2014. So that's huge. Absolutely huge. How does it feel when you're in the midst of an amazing shoot? Amazing shoot. Can't pronounce things. I'm like a little kid. I'm like 12. I'm like running around with the camera, like climbing up the window because I need this angle, or I'm like on the ground. I'm on the ground a lot, trying to get these different angles. Like, your chin is too like much of a chin in the shot. I need to get like crawling up in the window, or like in my studio, I have this. Okay, studio, not mine, but building I used to shoot. I have this ladder and I like crawl up on it, like getting above, getting below, getting everywhere. Like, I just need these angles, these picky little things that make the model look so different. So I gotta do that. So I'm like running around and ridiculous. Sometimes I get so into it I kind of like forget to eat before shoots or during editing. Yeah. Number 11. How do you select your locations for your fantastic shoots? Basically, anything I can get my hands on that's abandoned or old, or I like things that have this, like, you know when you're in a horror movie? Well, like, not when you're in a horror movie. When you're watching a horror movie, and you, like, relate to a character and you're like, no, don't go in that room. I like these locations where you feel that, like, don't go in that room. That's haunted. I love that. Like, I want this sort of uncomfortable, eerie and powerfulness behind a location and a model. That's why I pick specific people to work with, so I can like squeeze and entangle emotions and make them like what I want. Yeah. Number 12. How does it feel to see your work being showcased all over the state to attract potential students to your university? That's awesome. I love it. Like, I actually have the posters in my room and everywhere because, like, I shot these and they're really cool. Like, how can you not love them? And I don't think it actually hits me that, like, hey, your work is all over the state. No, that I don't think it'll hit me until I actually like see it all over. But I'm excited for that day. That day needs to come. I need to like get out more. Number 13. Do you choose a shoot for a song or a song for a shoot? And what I mean is, does the music come first or does the shoot inspire a certain song? The song definitely comes first. The emotion comes first. Sometimes even if I don't have like a specific song picked, I will totally have different songs of the emotion I want to convey in my head. Like, sometimes, like, I'll be shooting and I'll just kind of pause for a moment and just like think of those lyrics and think of how I want to portray that and make that like real, make that a thing. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, I always have a specific thing I want to convey, so definitely the song first. Now, last question. Oh, not last question. Second to last question. Number 14. What piece of art have you created? Photo, drawing, anything means most to you, and why? I would say the drawing of a little girl crying. That means probably the most emotionally to me, because that's when I was at my lowest and I like truly poured myself into it. But then again, a lot of my recent photography work has been up to that. But I can't really compare drawings and photography and furniture and ceramics and painting and watercolor and all these things to each other because they are such different mediums, and I always mean so many different things by them. So I don't compare them to each other. But drawing, definitely that girl. And for photo shoot, the one I think I'm most emotionally connected to is basically anything in the studio. And the Clarksville house. That shoot is like everything. Like legitimately raw me. Now, number 15, the last question. What bit of advice do you have for upcoming artists like yourself? I'm bad at advice. Don't listen to me for advice. All I have to say is, like, never stop. I was a loser in high school. Totally not a loser now. And, like, if you would have told me then that I was going to be running my own business and now, like, working with a photographer that shot for Vogue, I would have never believed you. I would have been like, stop, get out. But yeah, just don't stop, never stop. That's the most important part, because if you're not continuously working on something, you're gonna lose your mind, or at least that's the way I am. Definitely like lose your vibe. You can't do that. Once you start losing yourself, it's gonna take you a while to get back. And if you're like me, like there are some times where I have to shoot like once a week. Planning photo shoots like last minute, like I'll come home, I need to shoot something. Like, not like with them, but with camera, with my baby neck over there. So, just because I feel like emotionally overwhelmed and that's like a huge release, like, there it is. That is my work. And sometimes I'll be so like upset, like emotionally distraught from what I was trying to communicate in that shoot that I will like work on editing and like sit there and cry. Like I will sit there and just be like an emotional mess for a good 5 or 6 hours. But hey, that's okay, because look at the result of that. Look at what I make from feelings. It's kind of awesome. And I mean, I've never taken a formal photography class, so don't think that just because you've had no formal education that it's gonna be like shitty. Just saying. Like, do your thing. Don't feel bad for looking up online tutorials, because that's how you really learn. That's how it goes. So, anyway, end of the questions. Please send me more questions, people. I love questions. Questions are awesome. And I get bored a lot, so this is cool. Anyways.